A lot.
And pressure.
Okay, there's no kids. So you
I
can
moved my beer.
Oh, yes. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Over my beer.
No beer?
Guys, let's do this. Guys, we watched a great movie this week.
It was
I think
terrible.
I loved.
So bad.
Starting our...
Wait. I watched Pets, the Louis C.K. film. Which one's worse?
Super Pets, right? You guys watch Super Pets?
Yeah,
Oh, with Dwayne
Wonder
Rock
Pets?
Johnson?
I watched the one. I just
yeah.
watched every episode of the Wonder Pets. I can sing you multiple of those songs.
So we didn't watch...
On our
Wonder
way.
Pets is better than this film.
Yeah,
we
no,
watched-
it is.
We watched the
100%.
movie Pets, starring Dominic Monaghan
And other people.
and other people.
And other people.
Who I
basically.
forgot to look up.
There was the one guy from Saving or Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, Saving Ryan's Privates.
We're not drunk, we promise.
Guys,
drunk.
we burned this after
Movie was
watching,
terrible.
and this, by the way, had 4 stars out of 5 on Amazon.
I mean, because it was a good movie.
The female protagonist was Ksenia Solo.
Solo!
Jeanette McCurdy was in it.
What did she do after this?
So when you
I have no clue.
That answers nothing.
And Devon McDonald from Forgetting Sarah
Jeanette
Marshall.
McCurdy was in something else.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff, actually. She's a well-known comedian.
If you're working for a company,
This movie...
I recognize her from somewhere. I'm
She was
like,
on like a Disney kids show, I want to say, like
completely
Hannah Montana or something.
Yeah,
like
she
that.
definitely was,
you're
yeah.
saying because the bangs, I think.
No, I think she was. She was like on one of those shows.
pollen on your clothes will.
So we start with a very stark title card that's like, this is a student film, isn't
I've
it?
never dealt with
And
that.
this is Pat.
I was like, nice blurry shot, guys. This is, we really got the setting the scene here, setting the tone.
I forgot that Dominic Monaghan was in this, and I was Monaghan, because she keeps correcting me.
Sam and Cat.
Sam and Cat. There you go.
There you go.
So the one with Selena. No, the other one.
Selena Vega, yeah.
Not Selena Gomez. That's the Ariana Grande, I think.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep.
And iCarly.
So my first note on this was, I think my wife's in love with Dominic
When I
Monaghan.
was younger,
And
Is she?
Victorious.
So she's the one who picked this.
Make sure
For
you
the record. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I could see her being in love with
Do
him.
you think that I picked this, man?
I can definitely see. Yes.
She picked it.
Just so you know, I'm not attracted to him, like at all.
Yeah, no,
like
he-
I'm not. He's not at all appealing. Like I'm sure he's a nice guy in real life. I feel like so nothing against him, but I was just.
I
He
mean,
just
what-
doesn't do it for
I
If
think
me.
he's-
Jamie, if you were in a fight,
If he's
now.
dirtied up, maybe the lead singer Drive Shaft or something, maybe. But you know,
You all, everybody. I did make the joke.
So there's dogs in this movie. That was the best part of
No
this
dogs, Jimmy. See, I thought that's what you would like about it. There are dogs.
yeah,
There were dogs,
They put
yeah.
a dog down. Yeah.
That's what I said too. I was like, hey, I didn't know that was in this movie.
movie. I really don't want to talk about this movie. All right, let's get through
Let's
this.
do it.
Terrible accent. Terrible American
I do
accent.
love his
Like,
mural.
just have him be fucking Australian or
Try.
whatever. Just do
I love
it.
his island mural
Yeah,
thing he's got
he's
his
English,
bedroom.
but
That's really nice.
Irish. Was he Irish? Okay. He's not good at
Guys, he
American
works for Animal
accents.
Control.
Yep.
He's in the kennel.
He's giving a lot of snuggles.
Also, the ADR
yeah,
in
but
this
he's like
movie.
Animal Control. He's got like a patch on that's like a city
ADR in this movie, horrible. Like, the sound was
There
so
was
weird
ADR?
the whole time. It really
It
bothered
was jarring.
me. Yeah, I did
Especially
not
in the
like
beginning.
it.
For some reason, it got better in the middle, I think, but the beginning was terrible.
There's a reason this movie did not make wide release, and I think it's just everything about the movie.
No.
There's that, and then
I mean, is it better or worse than Rotten Tail, guys? Come on now.
I liked Rotten Tail more.
Whatever. There's a lot of dogs
Yeah, same
struggling.
thing.
And you're like, okay, we're gonna
So
bring
he
a cool
goes
protagonist.
he
Let's
goes
do
and
this.
works at Animal Control every day and rides the bus home and rides at Animal
But he
Control. But one
sees-
day he's riding the bus
A very
home.
pretty girl.
A pretty blonde lady.
That he knows.
And she's like journaling in her journal.
He's trying so hard at his American accent.
Well,
He really wants to do it.
And he knows her from somewhere.
High school.
High school. Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay. She does not remember him at all.
No. But you know what? He doesn't care. He just pushes forward.
Yeah. In the worst, like, just the most awkward.
I wouldn't have thought it was when
I mean, it's not that
And so,
I was like, you're a writer? And she's like, oh yeah, the uniform's just a joke. And he's like, oh really? I was going to order, because she works at a diner. He goes, I was going to order ice cream sundae with extra sprinkles. And then she goes, you wouldn't be the first. Like, what? Like,
and I put, and he's stalking her.
Yeah.
Right? And then,
Not yet.
oh no, because then he starts
No,
giving
right
her
then.
own line.
Yeah, right then.
Yeah.
What's her last name?
Holly
I have not done that.
Not a real last name.
Garland?
Garling.
Garland.
My first time.
Garling.
Oh.
Not Darling. I think somebody went Holly Darling. Like, no. Garling.
That's
Yeah,
a real name.
No,
It's my
That's not a real
nephew's name.
it's not a real name.
So yeah, he starts creeping her online, and then the next day at work, he's like, there's this guy who works there, Nate, and he's like, Nate, how do you talk to girls? Nate's like, listen, I'm going to tell you how to talk to girls, but also we're not friends, so don't talk to me again after
immediately
this.
basically tells him to fuck off.
Yeah. Nate's like, you're weird and we're not friends, but this is how you talk to girls. Just be interested in them.
I also liked that. I actually liked that character.
I did too.
We're not actually friends though, so what the fuck
Nate
are you doing?
is definitely the hero of this movie.
And I was like,
Yeah, I guess if you have one.
No, Nate is the hero of this movie. Yeah.
I think it's the Detective Amada.
Oh my god. Oh, I forgot about that guy. Okay, so then he has to put down a dog, and he's sad about it because he loves the dog. And she's like, you can adopt it, and he's like, my apartment doesn't allow it. And it's like, well, sucks for you. That's just basically what they say.
This is gonna be like something, right?
But guess who puts him down? John Ross Bowie.
Yeah.
I love him. Shout out to John Ross Bowie, friend of the vlog.
Yeah, friend of the vlog.
I read his book and it was amazing, and I love him.
That's why he's doing a vlog, actually.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Also, what?
Did anybody read my book? I like all this stuff.
He has an excellent memoir called No Job for a Man, which is what his father said when he said he wanted to be an actor, and it's just a really great book about growing up in New York City and loving punk music.
So this is the real takeaway from this.
Yeah, no, this was. I was like, John Ross Bowie. That's him and the dogs. That's my favorite part of this movie.
So Seth sucks, right?
Yeah, he's the worst.
Sucks.
Yeah, he sucks.
I
but
literally
he
forget his
goes
name for like the first 2/3 of the movie, even after he says it.
How much is
multiple
Seth,
times.
How
Like,
much is
that's how
Seth
good of an
making
actor
his animal
Dominic
control
Monaghan
job, by the way?
Yeah, nothing.
$9 an hour. Holy
How could he?
shit.
No, he lives in LA. He couldn't even afford
Yes!
an apartment.
There's no way he
he
had an
could
apartment with
afford
a
an
fucking
apartment.
bathroom, but there would be a
No.
toilet right by his bed.
No, yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Say that.
And
Yeah.
the bed would be made of cardboard.
yeah. Seriously.
Holy fuck. I was like, this is
Maybe
unrealistic.
What you didn't realize is a period piece, so egg on your face.
So anyway, he
It's
goes
rent control.
after having to
I
put
mean,
the dog down.
American.
He kind of goes into this like back area, and you're like, okay, there's a back area. This dog kennel. I
This is
guess.
like a really back area.
So then he goes home and he writes down her likes and her dislikes because, you know, he took Nate's advice, learned what she likes. Just write down her likes and dislikes like a totally normal person, you know? And then he practices talking to her. And honestly, I didn't mind this part. Like, I feel like there are people who need to do this, and that's fine. If that's what you need to do to get yourself psyched up,
What was Google
that's
called
fine.
this world, by the way?
Oh, I have no clue.
You're writing a lot of weird stuff down.
That's called
not like this
Sleuth.
movie.
Sleuth.
I love
Great.
You're not liking this movie, man. You wrote a lot of stuff.
Wow.
I was like, snooth. I'm like, okay.
So he practices talking to her, but then what does he do? He goes to her place of business to hit on her. Literally, like, the worst fucking thing you
Isn't that
can
how
do
you
to
guys
a
got
woman.
together?
Oh my god, it's the
Your job is
worst.
like, hey, I'm here for your job.
Yeah.
Hi.
Like, I'm gonna come to you, you have to serve me, and I'm gonna hit on you and make you really uncomfortable.
And he is just super awkward now at this point. Like, it's just like, okay, dude.
And also, like,
And
You gotta
she's
go.
clearly
You're
not
lost.
interested.
Yeah.
this actress is doing a really good job here, by the way, because
Yeah.
it's just like, I didn't tell you where I work. Like,
Yeah.
you're
It
here.
all leaves
Yeah.
my bank account.
This does not feel organic.
Well, no, because at first she doesn't even recognize him, and then when she does, she's like, "Are you following me?" Like,
He's like, no.
Also, he has like, and this is a credit to Dominic Monaghan. He has zero charisma in this, and like he does have like the actor can like act. Like, you know, Charlie's
He's Marriott Brandy Buck, okay?
Yeah.
no,
But-
it's true.
Yeah.
In this,
He-
he's
like,
like a totally different
It
person.
hurts.
Yeah.
It's so he's so uncharismatic. It hurts.
Which you're right. That is good acting that he was.
but also
had
not
no
not great
charisma.
writing though. You know what I'm
The
saying?
writing
Like,
was not good.
I don't want this guy to be the protagonist.
Like
No.
him and Holly made the actors made their parts what they were.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But the writing was just so bad.
The writing
it
was
like,
bad,
okay,
though.
what's going
Yeah.
on?
They did their best. So
Oh, by the way, this I did find out that this does not pass the Bechdel test. But then I was like, I didn't know at the time that the person was a victim of her imagination. I was like, oh.
Yep. Yeah, because she goes home to her roommate.
Her room.
Her roommate named Claire.
Claire,
Yep.
yeah. Good.
For as much as I hated this movie,
Played
I
by
do
Jeanette,
sadly
what's
Yeah, you
remember
guys are like,
things.
we hate
I
this
fucking
movie.
hated
Here's
this
every
movie.
detail about
No,
it.
but we haven't even gotten to go. The creepiest part about this interaction is she brings him the bill, and he's like, "Hey, I have tickets to this concert that's clearly an artist she likes."
Yeah.
And
Jesus Christ.
she's like, "Yeah, I'm really not interested." And he's like, "Come on!" And she's like, "I kind of already have a boyfriend."
And
No,
no,
you
you
don't.
don't. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck.
I mean, if you like this kind of movie that's good for you, like this hurt.
Yeah.
And as someone who watches a ton of movies, like I get this. I get why this happened, but
Sure.
this is not something for a white audience. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and as a person who's not a stalker, if that happened to me somehow, like, and I was in that situation,
Say yeah, okay?
I would just fucking never talk to that person. I would never have.
Oh no, she just gives him the bill and walks away. She's like, no,
But even like, if I was Dominic Monaghan and did that,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I could never do this.
It's
I
just
could never
like,
interact with
I
you
think
in
I
the
did
world.
well there. I'm
yeah,
keep
instead,
going.
I'm
Why?
gonna start following her everywhere.
Lord.
You just fucked this up really badly.
So, so he's
Like, you are
basically
persona non
stalking
grata,
her.
bro.
Yeah.
He's basically stalking her. She gets home and she's talking to her roommate at her house.
Claire, yes.
Her roommate, who is kind of a shitty friend because
She's real shitty.
she's talking about, she's like, my boyfriend, like, clearly was an asshole and I left him because he was an asshole, and her
So you
friend's
should just
like,
get back with him.
yeah, you should just get back together with him. And I was like, what a piece of shit friend. But we learn later why she acts like this.
It's
So,
weird.
yeah. So then she... Oh yeah, and she tells the friend, she's like, there's some guy out there, and she's like, don't be paranoid. And it's like, dude, your friend is creeped out by some dude outside. Like, you're a terrible friend. But again, we find out why later. So then she goes to work the next day, and someone sent her the biggest... those flowers cost at least $250. There's no way. He makes $9 an hour.
Oh no, some flowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she assumes it's like her hookup dude?
Eric. No, her boyfriend, Eric.
But he's
Yeah.
not really a boyfriend, sort of.
But also, it's just a note that says "Be mine."
No,
Be
so
mine.
creepy.
What?
So creepy. I want to own you.
The last one that said "Be mine" that was like in a sweet way was like in the 1930s.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's back when like you did own women anyway, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
sure. Yeah, creepy. So,
Does this dude have the worst stealth rolls? Like, that's every time he is in a scene.
No, he has the worst. He's like zero. Just all his stats are zero.
like, he like hits a tree and she hears him or something. Like, dude,
Hey, stop,
bro,
Yo, cut it the fuck out.
you are
man.
bad at this, bro.
so
Please
then
stop.
after she gets the flowers, she goes to see Eric at his job,
Yeah,
and
she
he's a
thinks it's from
bartender.
him, yes.
Yeah, because she thinks they're from Eric, her ex-boyfriend. And they're
Who is
talking.
the person that is from General Hospital? Because Jamie was like, "Oh, I remember this guy." I'm
Right,
like,
sure.
Okay, I didn't know
Cool.
him. He seemed like a fucking douche. So,
Cool.
um,
I was from General Hospital. So.
well, no, he definitely seemed like a fucking douche. So,
that was the point of it.
yeah, no, and that was the point. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
So,
one more come
but Eric, yeah, she and Eric are kind of like interacting, and he's like, "It was really good. We should get back together." And she's like, "No, it's over." But she's not really being like mean to him.
Yeah,
She's hanging
And
out.
Eric's like, okay, I'll see. All right, I'll see
Yeah,
you later,
right.
basically.
He's like, "If I just get her home at the end of the night." So then she goes to smoke out back because she's a smoker. She goes out to the patio, and then who followed her here?
Now he's like,
Seth.
now Seth's kind of like trying to be chill though, like playing a little cold. He's like, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
she
gonna
just
chill,
not
I
like
guess.
recognizes really bad accent at all. Just like it's just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna interact with this person.
No, yeah, so he follows her to the bar, and then he goes out. She's alone on the patio. He's out there with her. And they're kind of, like, interacting organically. And she's like, like, oh, don't ever start smoking. And they're talking. And then, again, he gets fucking creepy. Because he's like, it's Seth. Don't you remember me, Seth? And she's like, are you following me?
He also,
Like,
he also does like a reveal where he's like, I'm Seth. It's
Yeah.
really Seth.
Yeah.
And you're like, why?
why
Seth?
were you acting like a weirdo? Like, not... Yeah,
And,
like...
and we do understand that like there are people that are this way.
No,
but,
I
like,
totally understand that people
it's not
don't get social
relatable.
cues.
It's not relatable to normal people,
Yeah.
so it's like it's hard to watch because you're just like, why is?
But
he
also,
doing
he
this?
is, like, stalking at this point.
Yeah,
Like, he's 100%
and
stalking.
also he's been set up as our protagonist.
Right.
So we're like, I don't want to root for this guy.
Yeah, I don't actually like him.
Like, I don't want to watch this movie because there's
Well,
no
I
one to root
think-
for.
At this point, you're assuming like, oh, he's an anti-hero maybe or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
what's happening
she goes
It's like
to
a Dexter
she goes
vibe
to
almost,
leave
but,
the
like-
patio, and he like blocks her way. He like gets
Oh.
in front of the door because he's just like,
He also goes, I'm not some psycho, okay?
yeah,
And you're like, no, every psycho says that. Ever.
yeah.
Like, that's what a psycho would say.
Well,
so-
100%.
So he blocks her way to the door, and she hits him with her bag, which we've seen her writing in this journal many times.
And of course,
It's
everything
her journal.
spills all
Yeah,
over.
and everything spills all over in her bag because she hits him with it, and she just leaves it there, and she goes back
Which
into
you
the
would,
bar.
You're scared. You're
Sure, no, she runs back into the bar,
Life.
and then Eric beats him up, which he hits him like twice, and then she's like, stop, okay, that's enough, like, don't, she's not into hurting him. And she was like worked up because she's like, because he didn't really push
she's just
her,
a normal gal.
but he kind
There's
of like
no
held her.
Psychotic
Like he
tendency.
definitely put his hands on her, so I get it. She was uncomfortable. But then here's the dumb thing: is he just throws him back out onto like the back patio,
Yeah,
and like that's
it's
like
not
an
an exit.
enclosed patio.
It's not an
He's
exit,
gonna
yeah.
have to walk
Yeah.
back through the bar.
Yeah.
Like throw him out the front door, and then she can get her stuff. But of course,
does he hop the fence? Like,
Yeah.
how does he,
so he throws him out into the back patio where her journal is, and he picks up her journal.
What?
Creeper.
And you're like,
All her
he's gonna
deepest
read
secrets.
Yeah.
her manuscript
Yeah.
or something, or like her
The Voynich manuscript, actually.
So
Just a bunch
Last
of weird
Cypher,
pictures.
yeah.
she gets home and
They
she's
figured out
like,
recently what it is.
she gets home and she's like, I lost my journal. And she pulled everything out of her bag. And she's like, it's got to be here somewhere. No, you dropped a bunch of your shit.
Yes.
bitch.
Which like half her stuff was in the
I-
pattern.
yeah.
I want to be honest, I'd actually forgotten about the journal at this point. I thought it was the Gideon's Bible. I was like, oh, we found a little Gideon's Bible.
What if it had been in Gideon's
Right.
Bible?
He's like, I'm learning about
Jesus. I mean, I'm American.
I'm reading Corinthians.
I'm an American.
We still have so much to get through. Okay. So then
We're doing great. We're having a
we've
great
got,
time.
the music is terrible in this, by the way. Terrible.
I don't remember there being music, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
So we get to,
It's not great.
Seth is again exploring the like abandoned part of the kennel.
Why is there an abandoned part of this
There would not
animal
be.
control
large,
kennel?
There
a
would not
large
be.
abandoned part.
Have you ever been in a government building before
There
and
would
seen
not
an
be.
abandoned
No.
portion of
It
this?
was
There would
like-
not be.
There might
This
have
was
been,
the most offensive part of the movie.
No,
might have-
I totally agree.
there might have been more abandoned part than there was regular part.
Yeah, it was like
There's like a big old
Not to
hallway.
mention the tunnels. Like, what
Yeah,
the
there's a
fuck?
tunnel.
Don't go in the tunnels. What is it, like fucking warlocks
bomb
in there? What the
shelter?
fuck are we
Yeah.
doing here?
That's what they keep.
The fuck is
There's
happening?
like feral dogs.
But
down there
also,
with mutated-
the kennel where the dogs were and the abandoned kennel, it was the same thing.
They're the same exact
They
set.
just like broke the doors
Yeah.
off and like, yeah, no, it was so stupid. So
They didn't do anything to make it better.
but he goes into this abandoned part of the kennel and he finds a trap door and goes down.
Which, by the way, is a very conspicuous trapdoor.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh, I just found this by mistake.
Guess what?
Okay.
And guess what? Nate figures that out later too. So, you know, it's very
Which,
easy.
why did no one else figure this out?
Yeah.
This facility just
we're
opened?
assuming they've worked
What the
there
fuck?
for years at this point. We're assuming they've been there for at least 7 months.
Yes!
Yeah.
They're entrenched in this location. There's artifacts all over the set. Like the set
Like,
people
I
did
know
a great
every-
job making this look like it was
I know
living.
every stupid little door in my job. I've been
God
there for
damn
18
it.
years.
Yeah.
And, I found it by
the
mistake.
first year I
Oh,
walked
it's
in.
a secret weird basement.
Yeah.
That has nothing in it.
So, but guess what? He goes down there. There's power. There's a sink.
And there's a fucking cage.
No,
He
that was
makes
not a cage.
the
He makes the cage.
because he
Oh,
gets
what?
Yeah, he gets the
He like buys the
out
shit
of-
on eBay
out
or
of
something.
dog crates.
damn
No,
it.
he gets like dog crates, and then he gets like
He buys like welding tools,
like
or some
welding
bullshit.
shit.
Why
Montage.
the fuck
No,
did
because
that
we
happen?
need a
montage.
montage.
You got a
A
montage.
prison making
In the
montage.
cage where we're
Put 'em
keeping
in
people.
cage.
And then there's a montage of him testing the
Also-
drugs he's going to use on
also,
it.
why
to
is
make
he
sure they'll
welding?
work.
He's a good welder. Why isn't he doing that for
Yeah,
fun? They're
that's a
getting
lot more money.
Yeah. What are you
They're
doing, man?
union. They're union workers.
Dude, what are you doing, bro?
Jesus.
All right, so
He also has an only time flashlight, which I love. He's got like the bulb flashlight that like he's like, oh, it's not working all the time because it's an only time flashlight. Like, who has those anymore?
so
When was this movie made?
he's following her
Oh, the
again.
period piece.
He's tested the drugs. He's got the prison ready to
He says
go.
him on himself, by the way.
And he's following her.
As one does.
And he's following her again, and then he scares her, and she pepper sprays a poor homeless guy. Like, I felt so bad for this
and
guy.
at this point, you're still like, oh, she's just a terrified victim.
Yeah. But then we hear the homeless guy getting murdered, and you're like, did he just murder him? Was he like practicing? What's happening here? I'm so confused.
Because he's crazy, I guess.
But she gets back into her apartment and gets into bed, but then we see him just like parkour for bad up the side of her
By the way,
building.
these were the only checks that he actually passed, like the stealth check right there with the homeless guy, and then the check to get up into the house. The only 2 checks he passed. In
This
the
is
entire
where I figured out that Claire doesn't exist. Because there was people looking for Claire, and then she was not there. And I'm like, I don't think she exists. And then she.
When were people looking for? Well, no, she came home and she was like, Claire.
Yeah. She was like,
Okay, and Claire wasn't there. Yeah,
and like I was like, this would be an easy catch.
but I did kind of notice. I'm like,
Because
this
he was
seems
also
like,
being noisy as fuck.
This seems
when he
like
got
she is the only bedroom in this place.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this. Yeah, I was like,
there's no room for Claire here.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she gets into bed, and then he gets her in bed. and he stabs her, and he tells her what it is, and then he's like, yeah,
he stabs her with the drug.
Yeah, and she passes out. And she wakes up.
He packs her up.
We didn't even get there yet. Yeah, so she's in a box, and he's bringing this box into animal control.
Box?
Like, super late at night, too. And Nate's like...
Nate's just doing it. He's
but he's also like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, but he doesn't want trouble, He's like, so he's just like, oh man, that's weird.
He's like, alright, fine, you're bringing in a shipment.
The boss says the boss tells me to bring something, I bring it
Also,
in.
but they did do a wide shot, and they show just how much smaller Dominic Monaghan is than him. And Devon, I had it pulled up from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Devondre the Giant.
Yeah, so that would be a great name for him. So it is hilarious. But then she wakes up and she's in the cage. And it's a fucked up scene because she's, of course, freaking out, trying to, like, get out of this cage. And literally, I'm sorry, nails don't rip off like that. Nails do not rip off like that.
That's why I thought there was something fishy going on, because I was like, oh, she's, like, clawing so hard that she ripped her nail off?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
What's happening here? Yeah. Like, I'm confused. Like, that they don't just come off like that. But then he comes in and he's like, I brought some food for you, and she's just like, fuck you, and he's like, well, then you don't get the food, and he walks out, and I'm just like, oh, this is what
does he do afterwards, though? He just goes home and goes to sleep.
Yeah, you gotta, what else
does?
Yeah, sure.
Wait for her to turn around? Like, no,
So then he comes back, and he brings her a toilet.
It was a bedpan, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
a bedpan.
It's a toilet.
And, he's like, this is only going to work if we...
This very well welded cage has like a
very well done.
A spinning thing to put the...
I think that's what they use for the dog's food.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing design.
But it's for her to poop and pee in. Yeah. But she doesn't really have much to poop and pee because he kind of starves her for a few days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're gonna...
So then we get into this whole, like, I didn't put a ton of notes. We get into this whole, like, back and forth.
The rat stopping thing.
Yeah, so we get into this whole back and forth where he's like...
That'll turn into something.
He's, like, trying to mentally control her, and this is when we figure out that Claire is a figment of her imagination.
This is when I really figured everything out. I was like, she is crazy.
Yeah.
Like...
But she's also like maybe trying to manipulate
Jamie got upset
him.
with me because I had already figured it out in that last scene, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she doesn't exist." And
yeah,
he's like, "No," and I'm like, "There she is. She
doesn't exist. Yeah,
she
exactly.
Doesn't exist.
She's not real." So, but it seems like maybe she's gonna try to manipulate
by the way,
him.
at this point, still loving this movie. And I'm like, do I have to get a cage?
Maybe she's really interested. She's like, how does that cage work? And can I get into one?
Can you deprive me of sleep and food?
Yeah, no, what? So they sort of start to build up trust. At one point,
I'm doing this for your own good. Is it?
I'm trying to save you, and then she's like, "Fine, save me." Yeah, no, gross,
terrible,
gross.
Dude, what's your end game?
Gross. I hate this.
How does your end game?
I wrote, I hate this multiple times. So, but at one point, a rat does get into her cage.
You also
while
have
she's
to
going
watch
to the
her
bathroom.
pee at one point.
Yeah, so she's peeing. This rat gets into the cage. It scares her,
Not
and
my
then
kink.
Here's the thing: she starts kicking it. The first time she kicked it, that wet rat would have run the fuck off.
It did not, though. She murdered it.
She apparently stomped
that
it.
Rat didn't exist. That rat didn't exist, bro. Because there's no blood in the cage later. Unless she licked it up or something, she's crazy.
She ate the rat.
But there's like blood all over the place after she stopped that rat.
When you're hungry, you hungry.
So then they talk about like what love means, and it's dumb.
Monologuing about love.
Yeah. And then, and then it's like, what I love is that just in case you hadn't already figured out that Claire isn't real, they have to do like flashbacks to showing you that she's not real.
As someone who's worked with actors for a very long time, these are some decent monologues. These are okay monologues. Like I might use this in if I was auditioning for something and they're like, they need an edgy person. Like, okay,
sure. You'd be like, I have a scene from Pet. I'm gonna do a monologue for.
Because you don't do something someone's heard before.
So then he's like, you realize he read her journal and he knows all her secrets, and she's been murdering all these homeless dudes.
Yeah, and of course they're showing this stuff. Like, okay.
And so she basically
getting away with it, obviously.
She doesn't remember that she murders them. You don't really get what it is.
So you're a psycho killer? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
But here's what I love is he's like, I have to save you by putting her in a cage. Fuck you. You call the police.
So
you want to control her.
I was like, is this white people's Black Snake Moan?
Yeah,
What's
no,
happening?
exactly.
Yeah.
He wanted to control her. That's basically what it
Also,
is.
then
It
we
was
realize he's
disgusting.
passed so many stealth checks because he watched all these murders happen, and nobody even knew he was there.
Sure. So then she does a bunch of like reverse psychology and basically starts to manipulate him because she like bangs her head against the cage.
Oh no!
And does a whole bunch of stuff. But then one day, so Nate starts kind of suspecting him, and he's getting in trouble because he's not doing his chores at work, which is like, get your chores done. Come in early, get your chores
you
done.
might have said this, but it is important if you didn't say it. We do find out that she killed Claire.
Yes, she murdered Claire.
Because like, they got the car accident together, and then she finished her off.
No, but this is what's so dumb is
Stabbed
that
him.
Claire slept with Eric like once, but I guess they must have still been flirting by email or something.
Like that, yeah.
But then
so a text.
she's like, you're supposed to be my best friend.
Yeah.
Stabs her. First of all, gets into an accident and then straight up is still like, no, I'm going to finish the job and stabs her,
Yeah,
right?
That was like her first kill too.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that's what
yeah.
got her into
I
that.
mean,
Like,
let's just
let's just say it's Claire's
Claire
fault.
was mostly dead in this accident. She was
Yeah.
fucked
Yeah,
up.
Yeah.
but she finished her off.
So anyway, Nate's been like suspecting him because he's been doing weird stuff and like sneaking off into the back room, and clearly this has become his obsession. He's not doing his job; he's just coming in and doing this. So Nate
So
goes
why
to
wouldn't he
investigate.
expect him
Yeah,
to do this?
Nate goes to investigate, finds her, but then we know what's going to happen. She gets Nate to trust her and try to get her out. She gets Seth to murder Nate. Which is like, now he's doing all your dirty work for you. You don't even have to do the
Well, she's
murdering.
trying to
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very
She's
funny
grooming
because
him.
she's like, hit him and then he hits Nate with the flashlight and he's just like, ow! Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Why? Yeah.
It's
He's like, you're stabbing me now? He's like,
Here's the deep cut. It was like the Rohan punch in our last D&D session where he just punched the guy. And
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but he gets him down, he murders him, and then he feels terrible. He's like, I didn't mean to do that. He would have blown our cover. Like, I didn't want to murder him.
But she's also like, smash his head with a fucking brick, and he does it several times.
Yeah. No, he killed him. I mean, he did it. So the best part about this cleaning up montage, when he has to cut his body,
Montage.
he feeds the dogs some of him and then incinerates the rest, and then he has to clean up the blood.
That's actually the only thing that upset Jamie, because she's like, now they're going to want to kill humans. So I'm like, I don't know.
What?
That's why it works. Because, they're eating the human.
Yeah,
they
taste of human flesh now.
They start biting people.
Now they're-
I have nothing to say to
I
that.
was like, okay, I like it. I do like it.
No, so the best part about this
Oh, there's
part
a
was
dog
though-
music theme.
Yeah, so they have music in this, and there's dog
Song with barking,
incorporated into the
They
music.
put that in.
That was maybe the best part of this movie. I was like,
I agree.
it was like, I'm like, okay, sure.
Like, okay.
I like that.
The broken clock is right twice a day, and the guy who did the music for this, he was right here.
Exactly.
He's right.
So then he's cleaning up the blood, and
He
she,
barely cleans blood up.
Yeah.
It's blood all over
Terrible.
every fucking
He also,
surface.
to get rid of the evidence, takes all the guy's teeth and just throws him into a canal.
yeah, the
It's
LA
not even
River, yeah.
Is it a river? It was so
Yeah.
so weak and
No,
bullshit.
it's their like aqueduct, basically.
Yeah, there's just a
Yeah.
canal.
No,
There's a
it's
canal.
It's
yeah.
called the LA River, though.
Yeah. And so
I was like, this is bullshit.
yeah. So but he's still cleaning up blood, and she's getting like really turned on by it.
Yeah, definitely.
And
But also, I was getting. I mean, what?
sure.
So she's just completely messing with him though. She's
Bloody fingering.
Like, trying to grab his
Yeah,
hand,
she's
like,
controlling
puts it-
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then guess what? The detective comes in because they're trying to figure out what happened to Nate.
But she also says, maybe you're not supposed to save me. Maybe I'm supposed to save you.
Oh yeah.
From what?
Yeah.
Like, he was just being
I have
weird.
no
being.
Come on, we're almost there. So the detective is on to
I
him.
put it's getting sexy.
And I actually liked that
Oh,
scene
Detective
because the
Mira,
detective
that's
was
me.
like, "Oh,
Detective
tell me your
Mira.
story," but this is why that's wrong. And he's like, "Oh, well then maybe."
which
and just
by the
like,
way, is actually very accurate.
Oh,
portrait.
sure,
That's
yeah,
usually how
yeah.
it works.
no, that was
And his
correct.
lines were easily identifiable as lines
Yeah.
as well.
Well, no, and he would immediately change his story, and it's like, "Oh man,
Which is
you
how,
were not
how-
prepared for this."
It's not like we're gonna break this guy. Usually, you say something stupid. You're like, "That's stupid. Why'd you say that?"
Well, plus, he should have kept his story very vague, but he's like adding these little embellishments.
Oh
like,
yeah, and then he got a call from his mate
Yeah.
and he had to leave, and you're like, your accent's totally gone now. Can you please do your accent?
Also, we have phone records in the world.
Yeah.
Now.
So.
1942.
So then she tells him that he needs to cut off his finger to prove how much he loves her.
Which is stupid.
Yeah.
Well, she also before this just goes catatonic for a reason.
Oh well, because she's like you don't love me.
Yeah.
Then you don't love me. And he's like, she's like, don't come back.
And also, which guy hasn't had a girl do this to him before? You know what I'm saying? Just completely go catatonic, and you're like,
and say, cut off your finger, you don't love me.
Cut off your finger, and then you cut off your finger, and you're like, oh, she doesn't really love me, and you're like, totally tricked. Not again. Not again is all I'm going to say.
But guess what?
Not again.
He gives her his finger, and then she slits his throat.
But not in like the
So he cuts his finger off and like falls and like scatters the knife towards her like an idiot, and then she just picks the knife
and then he lets her out. He lets her out, and she cuts his throat. And you're like, oh, she killed him. She won. And then we see she's back with Eric. And they're like living happily together.
Really nice. Yeah,
and she's like real happy with him. It was funny because this scene opens with them having sex, and Nick was sitting right there, and he was like, "Well," and he just got up and walked away. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm so glad this
was not worth it or earned."
But was it like a really sexy scene though? You're like, "Oh, I'm glad I saw that."
I didn't care about the scene at all.
So then they've made food together, and then he sits down and he's like, "Oh, babe, can you grab my phone?" She's like, "Sure." And it's also this old ass phone,
And also, dude,
this is a while
you know
ago,
you a cheater.
2016.
Dude, also, you know you a cheater. You just like let people grab your phone, like
he doesn't care. He's stupid.
Obviously, Eric is not the
shit
shows
life.
But she sees an email from a lady, and she's like, "Hey, baby, call."
She goes, "Just hey, stud."
Yeah.
So by the way, our TV is so small and lame that I could not see what this said. And she's like, Jamie's like, "Do you want to like me to pause?" I'm like, "No, just keep going."
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No, I want to.
You know the gist of it. Yeah.
It's something dumb.
So then she comes up to Eric and she's like this, and you think she's gonna hurt him, but then she gives him his phone, and you're like, "Oh, she's not murdering anymore." Because guess why? She sneaks off to a storage unit or something that she has. And guess who's in there? It's
a pet of her own.
He didn't die.
Blind?
She sewed.
He's also like acid burned on his
sewed
face.
his throat back together.
His eyes are blind.
Oh no, she's been doing all kinds of fucked up shit to him. She tortures him, basically.
But he's cool with it. But
he loves it.
He's alive. Yeah. She sewed his throat back together, I guess, because she was also a doctor. I have no clue.
Well, you're seeing a little needle thread in your fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
and the movie.
And he's like, and it's like Monster Seth. And she goes, "But I have you."
But guess what? He gets the girl in the end, so...
Right?
Protagonist.
Sure. And she doesn't murder anyone else because she's got him to torture.
He saved her.
So guys, was this a great movie?
It's so bad.
Is he the Steve Trevor of this movie?
I hated this movie.
He kind of is. He's the other guy that like Steve Trevor goes into his body and he gets raped for a bunch of times. And you're like, hey, there's rape in this, right? Like Wonder Woman is raping this other guy's body. That is a ghost
his
Steve
body
Trevor.
is not consented to this.
But dude, you wake up and Wonder Woman raped you.
Did we watch Wonder Woman 2 for after watching? Because we should have. I'm just putting it out there.
Not yet.
Like the Pedro Pascal.
She rapes a guy!
Like the Pedro Pascal that like no one's into, and it's just like, how did you do this? And the Kristen Wiig that no one's into, and you're like, how did you do this?
Yeah, what the fuck is
the
wrong
only
with
good thing about that movie was the costumes.
It ended. Oh, yeah.
The costumes were good. Kristen Wiig's costumes
Steve
were
Trevor
fantastic.
somehow saved the world again.
But
that's how it was.
The movie ended, and you're like, oh, this movie's
guys,
right.
How about this movie? Was this better than Yoga Hosers or worse?
I think it's different than Yoga Hosers. I can't say if it's better or worse.
This movie was just fucking boring.
Just boring.
So for me,
unremarkable.
I like this movie that like what they tried to do.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Because it was very different
and unremarkable.
Terrible movie.
Yeah, unremarkable.
It was a terrible movie.
But I mean, it wasn't that different. Secretary did it way better in a long time ago.
Secretary wasn't that
and
fucking
less
dark.
murder.
Oh my god! I mean, and sexually it was darker, but it wasn't darker like in this way.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And also,
I like
you're thinking of Secretariat. You're thinking of Secretariat.
Yes.
They murdered the horse.
Was very.
Yeah.
The horse was
so much
murdering people.
sexier than Dominic Monaghan.
And he kept stabbing people like shit.
No, but like the characters in Secretary were like a lot more charismatic.
Yeah,
like that I think that was what like hurt the film for me. Was like,
I mean,
it was a good, it was a cool thing. It was a cool,
I know, right?
It was a cool thing that like they were so zero charisma. But, like, that does not make a good move.
No, it was bad. I did like that Dominic Monaghan and Holly...
They did a good job. It just was a bad
remember,
movie, yeah.
They did as best they could with the part, but it was just...
Yeah.
It was bad. I'd burn this movie. It's not worth Yoga Hosers to me, but it's unremarkable. I won't remember it after this.
I would burn the movie too.
Like, I remember Yoga Hosers being bad. I won't even remember this movie.
Matt, do you think if there was Bratzies in this movie, it would have been better?
Yes. Because the dogs would have had something to eat.
Right.
Guys,
I will go to your asshole!
thanks for stopping by, and stay classy, just like us.
Bratzies.
We're so classy.
Bye-bye.
Poo.